You want me to put that on my todger?
Harry's wife. Such terrible etiquette. Rudeness and a lack of etiquette is not the preserve of narcissists. Other individuals can behave in a rude manner. But rudeness and a failure to follow etiquette is more likely to be seen amongst narcissists compared to non-narcissists. This is driven, of course, by the alternative reality view that the narcissist has through the prism of their own narcissism, causing them to view the world differently. That they see threats to control repeatedly, that they see attacks against them, they see unjustified criticism, all of which prompts a particular response, one of which may well be rudeness and a failure to follow rules and etiquette. Following convention, protocol, etiquette, being polite, etc., are all forms of accountability. And you cannot shackle a narcissist to accountability unless the narcissism deems that it is appropriate for that to be done. Lesser narcissists are generally in your face. There can be a veneer of benign behaviors and politeness, but a lot of the time, what you see is what you get. That can be refreshing in some instances because the person speaks their brains. They're direct, they don't pussyfoot around, and there are advantages to that approach, albeit they can often do it in a bombastic, rude and insulting way, rather than being direct without being rude. That can be achieved. Your glorious narrator does it all of the time. With mid-range narcissists, they will operate a facade of kindness, politeness and false empathy, and therefore are less likely to be rude. Where they are, it happens in a more passive-aggressive way, backhanded compliments. Of course, they can be pushy, they can sharpen their elbows and cut in front of people, and they will be rude to certain instances to people in certain occasions where they can do so without the facade being damaged. You will see there certain mid-rangers who appear like a demure wallflower to the outside world, rounding on somebody and baring their teeth. It comes as no surprise, therefore, that for Harry's wife, as a mid-range narcissist, that her behaviour, if we've seen repeated instances of rudeness and alleged bullying, but also now her conduct and behaviour has been criticised by her etiquette trainer. The New York Post, with an article by Samantha Ibrahim, tells us, Harry's wife's etiquette trainer appalled. She tainted and attacked the monarchy. Harry's wife is not this guy's cup of tea anymore. British etiquette teacher Edmund Fry, who once schooled Harry's wife in the ways of the upper crust, said he's disgusted by her conduct since she exited the royal family in 2020. Fry, aged 83, runs the Rose Tree Cottage restaurant in Pasadena, California, a place where the former actress took lessons on how to have tea with Queen Elizabeth. He noted that he was appalled with Harry's wife, 41, and her husband Prince Harry's ill-mannered behaviours when attacking the monarchy. Ever since the Netflix thing came up and the Oprah Winfrey interview and things were being mentioned about racism in the royal family and so on, it tainted it, he told The Sun. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have released numerous tell-alls about their abrupt departure from the royal family, including a bombshell sit-down with Winfrey, a streaming docuseries titled Harry and Harry's Wife, as well as Harry's memoir Spare. Fry then explained how his customers are loyal to King Charles and don't discuss Harry's wife when munching on their mini sandwiches and sipping their English breakfast tea. He said his clientele felt let down by her actions, and he suggested that the couple have squandered that opportunity to help out the Commonwealth. Ordinary and poor people would not talk about their next-door neighbour like that, as Harry spoke about his family, Fry said. Back in 2017, when Harry's wife became engaged to Harry, 38, and made the grand move to London, Fry said he first met with the Suits star. He told the Daily Mail at the time that he gave her his full support and claimed she enjoyed the princess lessons very much. She would do, because of course it would accord with her notion of grandiosity. It would be demonstrating that not only was he under control, but that other people would be brought under control as a consequence of her elevated status. Her learning the etiquette was done simply because her narcissism deemed that it would be appropriate to help her fit in, but it doesn't mean that the lessons actually sunk in. The younger generation doesn't know what bone china is, and certainly don't know anything about how to handle a cup and saucer, or how to handle a knife and fork, he scoffed. He continued, "They come to us mainly to find out. What should we do, as we are having this social event?" The same sort of thing happened with Harry's wife. She knew she would be having tea with the Queen, he said. Harry and Harry's wife, having departed from the UK's royal family, moved to Montecito, California. Queen Elizabeth died last September at the age of 96, and reports surfaced earlier this month how the announcement of Harry's 400-page book amid her health problems was cruel. A close friend of the long-reigning sovereign alleged to the Daily Beast that the Queen was in a lot of pain towards the final months of her life. That was the time for Harry and Harry's wife to bite their tongue. Instead, they produced this unending stream of incredibly hurtful films and interviews attacking her life's work, they fumed. The friend added, for Harry to announce he was writing a memoir when his grandmother was not just recently widowed but actually dying herself, as he must have known she was, well, the cruelty of it takes the breath away. Of course, to those of you that are well versed in the behaviour of Harry's wife because of her narcissism and the impact of her behaviour upon him, it is not surprising. Harry's wife has no emotional empathy. She has the fake cognitive empathy which she wields out, but it's transparent and will only be used where it's deemed appropriate. And if the narcissism deems that there is a better route, namely producing interviews, speaking her truth, making money, then she will do so, irrespective of the impact that it would have upon other people, including the late Queen. She simply does not care. Her interests must always come first. Another individual speaks out about the behaviour of Harry's wife, condemning it. The list grows ever longer of people that disapprove of the way that she has behaved, the way that she has shilled a living from playing the victim, the way that she has attacked the very institution that welcomed her. More and more people continue to see through it. She has demonstrated such terrible etiquette herself, trampling all over the etiquette that she supposedly learned. A quick dive now below the line to see what people's observations are about this. Errant Bell writes, manners can be learned, however, class can neither be bought nor taught. To ironic response, exactly. The princess lessons have been wasted on her because she is not a princess, and is not princess material and never will be. She's not much of a duchess either. Miss Travis, where to begin? Harry's wife bulldozes ahead of people who by protocol go first, sense of entitlement. PDAs at official events, lack of accountability, sense of entitlement. Constantly searching out cameras, even in church, sense of entitlement, need for fuel. Inappropriate, ill-fitting attire. That fatal error, the mocking curtsy. Fry is an etiquette advisor, not a miracle worker. Ace of Clubs. I taught my Cub Scouts how to set a table and basic table manners because when you are invited to join the president for dinner, I want you to focus on the conversation, not which fork to use. Corporate greed. Mr. and Mrs. Harry's wife are using the Kardashian approach to building fame. Sell every aspect of one's personal life. The Kardashians were famous thanks to their biological dad being OJ's attorney and their stepdad being an Olympian. The Harry's wives have now have the entire British monarchy to sell out. Clearly, their business plan is not working like it has for the Kardashians. Delilah Orozovich. Harry and Harry's wife showed no respect to the Queen. I will never understand why they just couldn't walk away quietly, live their lives away from the supposed mess and drama. It is like they are addicted to it. Well, they are, or at least she is. She's addicted to the fuel, and she needs to assert control, and whenever anybody criticises her, she has to respond to that. Arula 1. She is a commoner from California and a B-list actress with a pretty face. She had no class and brought Wimpy Henry down to her level. A real tragedy. Bruce Ross. The Harry's wife woman learned little from this so-called etiquette coach. Vicky Melton. Harry and Harry's wife are two that deserve each other. Both are disgusting and spiteful. They are not owed anything by the royalty. LaviH20. Harry's wife and etiquette in the same sentence. Then there's some laughing and crying emojis. She's a classless climber who lives in a delusion that she is some kind of goddess. She has the class and manners of the gutter she crawled up from. Scott Dogg. Self-absorbed progressive Hollywood dingbats like Harry's wife, as well as this same ilk now running Washington, the reason Americans are not popular in other countries. July 4th. I'm just shocked by this revelation, as Harry's wife has always been a grifter. Constitutional conservative. Etiquette versus authenticity. Control your impulses. Be civil and kind to others versus do whatever the hell you feel like. It's your truth, not a fair fight. Red-pilled friend. You're trying to teach an alley cat to not spray in the house. All pretty clear of the way that they are seen, and particularly her. Last word goes to customer. She's an evil witch, most putrid, vile and demonic. Asking what behaviour do you expect from an evil witch? I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.